No, my safe word is safe word.
Safe
Oh, hi,
word.
Joel.
It's a good one.
Uh, I'm president of Colwood for YouTube. That is
Antwerp.
my buddy. That is my buddy Patrick for Chris, my buddy Alan Gallant. We're here to review the movie Justice League. This is directed by Zack Snyder. Screenplay by Chris Terrell. Josh Whedon is here also. Story by Chris Terrell
That's
and Zack Snyder.
Joss for you.
Josh,
Joss, not
Josh,
Josh.
Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Potato.
Yes, there's that.
Sorry. Cinematographer is Fabian Wagner. Edited by David Brenner, Richard Pearson, Martin Walsh. Music by Danny Elfman.
Cool.
Distributed by
Always
Warner
that.
Brothers. Release dates November 13th, 2017, Dolby Theater. November 17th, 2017, United States. Wow.
Saw it just before Christmas, I remember.
Yeah. Budget $3 million. Box office 661.3 million. So, guys, when did you see this lovely film, Patrick?
I think I started watching it on opening night, and I think I walked out.
Mm.
I either walked out or fell asleep. It was one or the other. And I'm being very honest about that. This is when I realized that something very bad had happened in Hollywood. Something systemic,
Mm-hmm.
and that movies had become the enemy. The only way I can
Or
describe
an
it,
aspect of movies had become an
yeah,
enemy, at least.
yeah, and that it was becoming increasingly rare and difficult to find one that did not somehow reek of insincerity. And I don't. Future historians are really going to look at this period and talk about how and why and when Hollywood soured.
Well,
Temporarily,
they're going to talk about how technology sucked the soul out of certain types of movies.
that's going to be a dimension of it, but
Yeah.
I don't want to put it at the feet of technology.
No, not
Movies and
because
technology.
technology can
Movies have
be
always been
used or
a
misused.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Movies have always been a technological gimmick
Mm-hmm.
from Lumiere on forward. You know, so yeah. I mean that's true, but people were trying to say that back in 1982 about ILM, but it wasn't landing.
Right.
And in this case, I cannot tell you. I mean, it's the closest thing maybe to an ongoing spiritual experience I've ever had, because something beginning around this time, maybe a year or two earlier, just told me there is something fundamentally cosmically wrong with what I'm sitting in. My body began to react to it. I began to be incapable of staying awake in movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like I would go into torpor to protect myself from the films. I
Mm-hmm.
know that sounds totally melodramatic, but
No, I'll tell you how that affected me here in a minute.
okay.
And how that.
Uh, I I began having no compunction walking out of theaters and sitting in the lobby and writing about Clinton Collins,
Yeah,
waiting for my movie pals to get out.
sure.
I think, in fact, I can tell you the first movie it happened in. It was the Purge sequel. It was the Purge sequel. But I just
Mm-hmm.
said, I thought, I know exactly how this thing's going to go. What the fuck? I would rather sit in the lobby. And I did. And I just waited it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been that way. Shit. I took a break during Oppenheimer. I walked out during Oppenheimer. It's like, yeah, you're gonna blow something up. I walked back in because the whole movie was like watching a movie in an MRI. And I because I was in one of the Nolan approved theaters.
Which meant you were being overwhelmed by sound, which I
Oh,
felt was
horrible! It
that
was
was the
just
only offensive part of that movie. I liked the movie itself, but I thought the sound was just overwhelming. It was,
even Florence Pugh's nudity couldn't defeat it.
yeah.
And that's really saying something. So anyway, back to Dawn of Justice or whatever this thing is. Justice League on Ice or
Justice
whatever.
League. Yeah.
I remember going and seeing nothing I recognized except maybe a little bit of Cyborg.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really recognize his Batman, I didn't recognize him, sort of. I recognized Alfred. Uh, I didn't recognize Fishman, Submariner, whoever he is. I didn't recognize him. I
Aquaman. I mean,
uh,
they went with Jason
whoever he
Momoa
is.
tribal
Yeah,
instead
Prince
of
Maymod.
Aquaman.
Yeah, Aquaman. I didn't recognize him. I didn't really recognize Wonder Woman. Where's Linda Carter when I need her? Um, I didn't. Hell, I'll take Adriana Palacki. Um, I didn't. I didn't recognize any of this. It gave me. Not only did it not give me anything I went to that movie to see, it sort of gave me the opposite, and I felt like a bully had replaced my comic book with something that they had drawn on their own and were forcing me to read it. And I was like, wait, where's Kurt Swan? Where's that art? I like that art. And maybe
Yeah.
it's just an old man. But I go to comics, especially DC comics, to feel good. Okay? DC is Protestant, Marvel is Catholic. And and we go to DC to see God's triumph and all of that. And just yeah, see Kingdom Come at the very
Mhm.
worst. See Kingdom Come,
Mhm.
and nobody came.
Yep.
So that's my
My whole thing is that all the scenes were strung together as an excuse for really bad superhero fighting, because the superhero fighting sucks in this movie. It's terrible.
um,
It's not crafted correctly. It's just all a bunch of zooming around and stomping, and it's really, it's just not,
superheroes fighting
you know.
superheroes fighting each other. Superheroes fighting
No,
supervillains.
fighting Steppenwolf and all of this other stuff.
Yeah,
It just lacked soul, and it should have a purpose. It should have emotional impact, and it doesn't. It doesn't. It's gross. I like the idea of the mother boxes and the zoo
well, that's
the
all classic Jack Kirby.
I know it is. It's New
Yeah, that's
Gods, and
wonderful. I
even I
love that.
mean, even Steppenwolf even says, "I'm going to be one of the New Gods," and so that. But the thing is, they never took that far enough. They didn't focus enough on that because that would have been brilliant, I think, if they had done something with that. But instead of having Steppenwolf, as I said before, just bring Darkseid in because this is who This is what it's about. This is what it should be about is Darkseid. He's the ultimate terror from the New Gods universe. He's the
You realize
ultimate
George
villain.
Lucas ripped all of that off, right?
Yeah. What's that? Oh
You realize
yeah.
George Lucas ripped all of it off.
Yes. I
I
know.
mean, totally. The
I
source. I
mean,
mean,
New Gods
everything.
came out about 5 or 6 years before Lucas started writing that stuff.
It's just
Yeah.
it's totally yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad we're on the
Yeah.
same page with that.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. But I love Kirby's work. I
I do too.
absolutely love his artwork, and I love his concepts, especially the New Gods and Mr. Miracle and all of that stuff. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Mr.
Um,
Machine Man.
yes.
That was a
Uh,
great comic.
so I enjoyed that. I didn't mind the resurrection of Superman too much. That was okay. But again, everything gets broken up by these cheesy fights and bad use of tech. Not it's soulless and flat,
Yes.
almost two-dimensional.
Not only
So it
that, but
didn't.
the
Yeah.
comic did such a great job bringing Superman back.
Yes.
What a lovely film that would have made. What a
Yes.
fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. With all the different Superman and who's
Yeah.
the real Superman and all of that
Yes. And some were
stuff.
evil,
Yeah.
some were tragic. It was, gosh, it was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. They fleshed it. They fleshed it really well.
I mean, I
Uh,
was reading comics then. I didn't read The Death of
mhm.
Superman. By God, I read that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Return of
I was the
Superman.
same. I kept like going, okay, where's Alfred? I want to hear another sarcastic, cheap shot towards, Bruce
Sure.
and, you know, all of that sort of thing. Um, so, that worked for me. But the fights in this made the ones that in like Man of Steel um, and Batman versus um, Superman look really good, and some of them were really good. They just went on too long, especially in Man of Steel. Um,
I
this
think they
one,
need to
this was
do.
like, what did you do? Why didn't you at least uphold the level of quality in that action that you had in those two films?
Yeah. I think, you have to be very careful for whole new reasons nowadays with these with special effects and with special effect driven violence, because when everything is possible, nothing is interesting.
Yeah,
There's
and
no risk, there's no magic, there's no how do they do that.
right.
I
Which
mean,
is why I mean, some things can be done. Some things can be done with practical effects, which makes it more immediate, more human. And
and it's
it's not that you
effort.
can't do great things with CGI and computer generated stuff. You can, absolutely. As you mentioned before, it's just that it does seem to be tepid now in some of these movies because there's so much of it. You're just like, oh, I want to do that. I
Mostly
want to
pigeon
do that.
crap flying
Yeah,
all over the place.
yeah.
I go back to Superman the movie, and every special effect was difficult.
hmm They
Every
were
special effect was difficult,
they
and
were mostly practical effects. There was some
yeah,
animated effects, but there was
and we
mostly practical.
knew that at the time.
hmm
And I'm sorry, but there is something in between the flickers. There is some chemical, alchemical, that is released in the making of those movies, where the more difficult the effect to pull off, sometimes the more thrilling the effect is to see.
Sure, it's
There's
a
just
victory on
something
levels.
about it's like a labor theory of value. It's like a Marxist labor theory of value. It doesn't work in the real world, but it works in movies.
Right.
In that, to think of how much work it took to create the effect of Christopher Reeve flying underneath that blown out plane engine and grabbing
Yeah.
it and hoisting the plane, even though the model just did like that. Uh, that reads as spectacular. There's just something
Well,
about knowing that humans really had to make this thing happen.
yes.
And when you can just do it with your iMac, fucking who cares?
Right. Well, unless you're being more creative about what you're doing with that iMac, and that's the challenge. And some people take it up and it works. And other times it just looks two-dimensional and crappy. Even though
Yeah,
it's really slick, it
yeah,
still comes across as two-dimensional and crappy. And I thought that, like I said, particularly the big final fight in this movie, it's just gross, and it's too fast. Everything's happening so fast. It's like and it doesn't have any impact. Doesn't land on the audience.
okay. So, Jewel, Alan, I got a question for you guys. You both have seen, of course, Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Of course.
right? Okay. Jewel, you seen Raiders of the Lost Ark? Is he here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he's there.
okay.
Hello. Yes.
Yes, he says
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
Was there in that movie at any point a suspenseful moment that kind of made you catch your breath, or feel genuinely nervous, and then feel relieved when Indiana Jones pulled something off?
Sure. Number of them.
Okay. Joel, how about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I want you to be honest. I want you to think about the big special effects movies of the past 15 years. Have you really ever had that moment since it all became, a video
In
game?
in the human scenes, maybe, but not necessarily in the CGI
I'm
heavy
talking
action.
about the actual
Yeah.
action sequences.
Yeah. Okay.
I, you don't. So I made my point.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, because everything's possible. It's like, oh, gee, I wonder when he's going to click Control Alt Delete
Right.
this danger.
Right.
Control Z, undo, undo.
Yeah, I mean, take for example all of the practical effects in the James Bond films, which became enormous. In these enormous sound stages, those all had elements of, excitement, stimulation. Sometimes, holding your breath,
and,
various
and
things like
even into the modern era where it was so dominated by CGI, the Ian Productions had such incredibly good taste in what they presented and how they presented it. I never wondered, is this computer, is this real? It
that.
was just what was going
Right. They
on in
had
the
a
movie.
template and they followed it for the most part. Yeah, they had
Yeah,
a they had a
yeah.
past that told them what worked.
I
Yeah,
know I'm broken right here. I know I said this last podcast. What a triumph those films are. What an
yeah.
amazing triumph that body of
There's
work is.
there's fidelity in those films. You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's probably lost now, unless Bezos just gives it over to somebody who knows.
I mean, when Diamonds Are Forever is the worst, or Man with the Golden Gun is the worst, or whatever.
Hmm.
That's a pretty good.
It's still
I'd
pretty
watch
good.
one of those movies
The
again.
bar is still reasonably high. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the issue here with this film starts starts a film ago, literally in the previous film. And really, I'll say this: when you kill off your Superman, who literally showed up a film ago, oh, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And
yeah,
now,
cool. That's a good point.
you know what I mean? Like, what, no one look. If you keep rebooting, if what they're doing with the current Superman now, okay, they rebooted it. Okay, they're going for it. They're not killing the guy in the next goddamn movie because that
No.
would be
No,
senseless. Now, them killing Henry Cavill Superman in the last movie was completely senseless, just to bring him back in this film. And by the way, that caused some delays because the guy had a mustache.
He did have a mustache. They had to CGI out his mustache in this film because he was doing Mission Impossible, I think.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yep.
let him keep the mustache and made it a plot point.
Oh
Sure,
my
right.
god. But
That would
but
have been fine.
it's
Just let him get all scraggly and
No,
beardy.
just the mustache.
Yeah,
uh,
Lois, mustache. What am I supposed to
it's really.
do?
this
Mustache.
movie these movies are bad because they lack the most important thing, soul. All like both of them, both these movies lack soul, and
This one
they
more so than the last one.
yeah, more so, yeah, because it's like you basically took an all-star cast, brought them together with to face Steppenwolf. It's like da 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 da
Who
da.
was a CGI character who,
Yeah,
has a great actor voicing him, but he's limited by
yeah,
what they're giving him to voice. Uh,
yeah.
but and yeah, the character is so obviously CGI too. It's just obviously CGI.
Honestly. If you're doing Galactus, you can kind of get away with making Galactus
Sure,
CGI. He's a
because
big
he's
guy with
so
funny.
Yeah,
otherworldly,
yeah.
enormous,
It
and all
would
that.
look stupid played by an actor, unless it was John Rice Davies.
Mhm.
It would just look dumb. But now Steppenwolf is supposed to be played by an actor. That's
Yeah, I
with a
think
with a
you
wacky
could
helmet.
easily have a live actor play Steppenwolf.
Hello, Tim Curry, legend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
You
Movies,
know,
especially
Zach. I'm sorry, you're going.
movies have become one giant video game without the player having a controller, and they look worse than what video games do, and they look awful. And the story is kind it's there to a degree because I think that's the thing. In the previous movie felt it needed an extended cut, just like this movie felt it needed extended cut, because I think Warner Brothers and certain filmmakers like Zack Snyder think the audience just won't get it. If no, we got it, we got it. Lex
Well,
Luthor
it's
was
become a
working,
gimmick
yeah.
too.
Lex Luthor is working with Darkseid in some way, in a weird way. We get it, we really do. You have to trust your audience in some capacity
Hmm.
because if you don't, what's the point of making a fucking
Right. And the whole thing of extended cuts has become a Schneider gimmick.
yeah.
It's like I'm going to shoot all this extra stuff and then I'll bring it out in 2 years and make more money off of
Let me
it.
tell you,
Blah blah blah. It's just it's
the idea of Lex Luthor teaming up with a cosmic villain. This Lex Luthor teaming up with a
yes.
cosmic
No.
villain is like T. Justice teaming up with Gordon Gecko.
Darkseid would pop him like a pimple and take all of his computer knowledge and just mainline it. So
I
it's
don't. Darkseid wouldn't even hear him. Huh? What?
Yeah.
I said,
What is this fly in my ear?
do we have to keep talking about this, or are we done? Can we stop talking about it?
I think we're done. I think we're more or less done. I think we've all voiced our disappointment and the fact that there's some potential in some of what was going on that was never realized, and that we don't like the CGI is soulless in this particular.
Yeah. Check, check, check,
Yeah.
check.
Yeah.
What next? Can we have some sorbet?
Sorbet. Want to go Dark Shadows on something? Or do you want to go full movie or
Whatever you guys like. Joel, what do you think?
Let me make sure this is available before I make the suggestion.
okay? Cool.
You're not shaving your wind. Sorry. Quite an image. As your leg rises majestically from the bathroom.
It is. It is. Okay, guys. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. 1938. Let's do they drive by night.
They
Let's
Drive
see.
by Night,
Yeah.
which is the it's an early star vehicle for Bogart and what's his name? The guy who had mob contacts, literally had mob contacts. What's his name? The other guy that's in that.
Yeah. George Raft?
George
Raft.
Raft, right.
Yeah. All right. All right. Let's do it.
That will definitely cleanse the palate, I think.
They drive
before you go,
Joel,
what do we
I
give
must go.
Yeah, you go. You go.
I have to go to the
Okay.
No,
Okay.
let's
You have
get
a good one.
Okay.
But
You guys keep going. I get it.
Okay. Okay.
We'll
We're
wrap
gonna
it
talk
up.
about
No worries.
we're gonna wrap this up for you. Don't worry. So Gordon, what do you give this piece of shit?
Oh God, if only Gordon were here, right? I give
No,
this,
sorry, Alan. I'm so
it's okay.
Oh my God.
It
Dude,
makes some kind of
been a
weird
week.
sense.
Well,
I give this movie about a 4. And that's because of some of the actors in it, in some of the non-action scenes work. But that's it. I can't give it any more than a 4.
other than Lack and Soul, this movie has so many character interactions, which isn't bad.
No,
but it's like, and they make sense how they get there. I'll give them that. But the CGI is just
the payoff is soulless. It's just,
soulless.
Yeah,
it's like the most soul we get is the superhero interactions with each other. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when they're banter and so on.
Yeah, that's the best part of this movie. And then once that's over, this movie's done.
Yeah,
literally. And I don't know why they go this route of full CGI, other than they went that way in the last movie.
it was different in the last movie. The last movie I like a bit better than this one, but it wasn't quite so soulless. But yeah, they kind of went too far with it, I guess. Basically, they said, "Okay, we've done all the live action scenes. Now we're going to hand the movie over to the animators and blah blah blah." And it's like, oh, okay. Just didn't.
It's like I don't want to see a ton of CGI in your film. I mean, I get you have superheroes. Sure, you can have. I did forget to mention the last superhero movie that really had some soul to it, to me, was the Avengers. That was the one that had the most soul.
I like the first Doctor Strange too, because
that was good.
They reproduced the artwork from those early episodes, especially when they went into the Dormammu place and
some of those
like that.
Some of those don't lose their soul because they're not solely based on CGI,
right?
And they have good
story.
Dialogue. Yeah, they have a good story. But that's something that's been lacking with some of these superhero movies. It's not a great story.
Yeah.
and it pays the price for sure.
Yeah. Well,
So,
it's one of the legitimate gripes they've had with, and not all DC movies are like this. Some of them are pretty high quality, but it's the legitimate gripe that a lot of people have Marvel versus DC, that Marvel had established a flow and a story, quality in a lot of their superhero movies that works, even though there is a lot of action in it, even though there is, this, that, and the other thing. Um, and DC has had a harder time with that, I think. Now it's done well with certain movies. I think like more of the solo, some of the solo Superman movies work fine. This last one, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool. It's not perfect, but it's much better than this movie. Way better than this movie. So.
Not all movies are going to be perfect. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the thing. But you do find them. There are sense of perfection movies.
Yeah, and you have certain expectations.
Yeah.
If you set the bar here, you better make it. That's that kind of thing.
See, now that was my expectation for Halloween H2O. My bar
Mhm.
was here.
And it,
Kind of was here
nah.
after I left it.
They cheated. They lowered the bar so they could jump over it.
Yeah, yeah. There's some of that movie's really good. It has
Mhm.
great character dialogue,
Yep.
but like the movie I was expecting did not show up
Right.
at all. And people are like, "Oh, you wanted a high kill count?" I'm like, "No, you have to understand the biggest thing missing in that movie." And no, it's not Sam Loomis because you can't duplicate Donald
Yeah,
Pleasance.
that's not going to happen anyway, so you
Right.
can't penalize them for that. But
The question I've always asked since junior high school and well, even when I watched John Carpenter's Halloween, what's wrong with the town of Haddonfield? There's no
Mhm.
Haddonfield in your movie. And
Mhm.
Michael Myers, okay, you take that away. I do like what they do with John Tate, but there's things there's a scene, if you've ever watched Halloween show, where John Tate looks like he sees something. There's a sound or something. And he's looking over. They don't cut to it. He's just the look on his face, like, what the hell was that? Like, what?
Uh-huh.
And this is way after the argument with his mother,
Mhm.
okay, about Michael Myers isn't coming back and all that shit. It's like, what did he see or think
Right.
he saw? At least show us that. I mean, I give Josh Hartnett the credit for selling it on his face,
Mhm.
but that's a moment as an audience you kind of want to see.
You do.
You
You
know what I
want a
mean?
confirmation.
Yeah, you like, did he see somebody walk by and like, what the fuck was that? Because you get that with Molly, who doesn't know about the history of the family yet. She is after this,
Mhm.
where Michael Myers she looks over or looks out the window just like Laurie Strode did, and there's Michael standing watching her.
Right.
And it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So you get that, but you never quite get that with. I won't say you won't get it with Josh Hartnett's character. You do later on, but he's with Molly, and it's
Right.
like, okay, maybe, but yeah, I think that's you're right. Expectation. Alan is right. Expectation. You set yourself up here, and a lot of times you kind of set yourself up for failure because you're expecting. Okay, Halloween 6 to me was a. I know there are people who hate that movie. But that movie was really good and really dark and really scary because where was it set? It was set in Haddonfield,
Mhm.
and everybody did their job. Pleasance, Marion Hagen, who great actress, really good. A young what's his name? I'm thinking of, who played Ant Man. Um, it was his introduction role. I can't think of his name. I'm sorry, but he was in that movie.
Yep.
Um,
That was like one of his first
mhm. Right.
films,
It was
actually.
right before what is it? Legally Blonde. Right before he
Mhm.
did Legally Blonde. Uh, he might have been filming that about right after that. I
Yeah.
think, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I just think you're right. You set yourself up for this expectation, and a lot of times the film doesn't meet it.
Well, a lot of times the production company sets it up with the previous film or whatever. If you look at
Yeah,
the
something.
quality of it sometimes, and then all of a sudden you get a crash, and it's like, what's happened? What happened?
See, we were when we reviewed Resurrection. I think I may be mistaken, but I did think I told you guys all my expectation went with H2O. Like
Right.
I had no expectation walking into Resurrection,
Hmm.
and that surprised
Right.
because it was entertaining.
Right.
But and they had a Myers house set that worked. So and Buster Rhymes was going
Was
going
Buster
crazy.
Rhymes?
No,
Yeah.
Buster Rhymes was improv. By the way, I
Yeah.
forgot to mention that he was improvising
Oh
in
yeah.
there.
It's yeah. I'm not
You could
surprised.
tell
Not surprised.
the script was not his character wasn't written greatly, but
Mm.
he made up for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think this? When you look at the superhero movies that DC, do you think DC is just trying to compete with Marvel too hard, or what?
Yeah, maybe going a little too spectacular, trying to
Yeah.
reach a little bit too much and not necessarily needing to. I mean, again, the use of the special effects is fine. You can use them, but how you use them is going to make the difference. Maybe they need to use them a little bit more judiciously rather than have basically a friggin' circus fight that goes on for 15 or 20 minutes kind of thing, and it's just mm, after the first 5 minutes it's done. um, and meet that out a little bit more creatively. I keep going back to the first Doctor Strange movie, how they used the special effects in that. The special effects were a reward for the story. You you followed this guy along, and each step of the way towards him becoming master of the mystic arts, you got a reward. He got a reward. And that just seemed to work really well. It was earned. The special effects were earned.
Well, that's our review. I'll give this movie a 4.25. Uh, we tried. We
Yes,
tried.
we
We
did.
really did.
Watched the whole thing. So,
We did. We did. I've seen the extended cut. I'm sure Alan has.
oh yes.
And if you haven't, don't hurt your eyes. Uh,
Yeah.
don't do that more. Look. I'd rather watch all three Lord of the Ring movies than watch the
Sure.
extended cut of these movies. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They're not saying something, and those movies are really long.
Oh, Peter Jackson, come on.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah.
yeah.
uh, Links to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Table of Triumph. It's going to be
Here
in the
just a
script.
minute.
In the description box. Link to Alan Gallant's YouTube channel, College Sport After Dark, is going to be in the description box. And yes, well, I am going to have Gordon on here Saturday, so hey.
Oh,
Uh,
just a premature shout out. That's all.
oh, yeah. Drive by night. Yeah, they drive by night
We
tomorrow.
drive by night. We will
Yeah,
too.
yep. Have a good night, Alan.
All right. Take care.